Good morning, beloveds. It is an absolutely beautiful day out there today. We went to the park. I actually set my alarm a little later and then got up before my alarm went off. And so we got to the park at about 7:30, and it said it was 60 degrees out there. In the sunshine, it definitely felt warmer than that. And I did the 1.25 mile loop around the park, and I did the maintenance loop, which is about a quarter of a mile. So I did 1.37 miles, and my knee burned probably the second half of it. So we still have a ways to go with whatever's going on with this knee. But the squirrels were out because it was warmer. Although I think the time changed through them because they were like, there weren't as many. There were a lot of soccer players in the park too, and a lot of runners and a lot of dogs. And so, it was a good day in the park. It was a beautiful day. I think today is one of those days that I'm gonna open the windows and let a little fresh air in, like I'm always encouraging you to do at the end of these things. But we are gonna do this first. It is November 7th, Saturday today. So November 7th, our title is Forgiveness. And our Bible quote is, I blotted out as a thick cloud thy transgressions. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered nor come into mind. And that is from Isaiah 44:22. Isaiah is one of the long prophets. It's a very big book and very interesting. Whatever the mistakes of yesterday may have been, today is a new creation. Turning from the errors of the past and no longer carrying with us the sorrows and mistakes of yesterdays, today we may enter into a new experience. But it is only when we forgive everyone that we may feel certain that the weight of condemnation is lifted from our consciousness. We should refuse to carry the negations of yesterday into the positive atmosphere of today. For today, the world is made new in our experience. Today, I loose all condemnation. I judge not, and I am judged only by the law of good. There is no animosity, no criticism, no hatred. I shall behold the face of love, of beauty, and of peace in everyone I meet. I know that every right motive has the blessing of the Spirit, and that there is nothing that opposes this blessing or denies this divine givingness. And then this is a reading from the Science of Mind. The mind that condemns understands not the truth of being, and the heart that would shut the door of its bosom to one who is mistaken strangles its own life. And that is from page 457 on to 58. 458. There's a whole lot said about forgiveness, among them being holding a grudge is like holding on to a burning stone. The only person who gets burned is you, and holding on to a grudge is like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die. But forgiveness is tricky. Sometimes we're called upon to forgive people for apologies that we're never going to get. And sometimes we are asking for forgiveness for mistakes that we have made. But what forgiveness requires is changed behavior. So the shoe's on both feet with forgiveness. We are called upon to forgive, and we are called upon to be forgiven. But I think that Ernest would say, and notice that I said I think, that Ernest would say that the Spirit that God doesn't have to forgive us, because God cannot judge us. What Reverend Jesse says about that is that there's nothing outside of God. There's nothing outside of the Spirit. And because there's nothing outside of the Spirit can't judge us. So we don't ever have to come to the Spirit asking for forgiveness, because the Spirit will never see anything to forgive us for. So when we are thinking about going to the Spirit to ask for forgiveness, the one person that we need to go to for forgiveness is ourself. In that case, it means that we know that we've made a mistake. God is not going to judge us, but we are going to judge ourselves. So we are going to forgive ourselves. We are going to attempt to forgive ourselves. And that's one of those things where if you feel like you need to go to God for forgiveness, then the best thing that you can do is change your behavior. That is the best form of an apology, is changed behavior. And then when it comes to forgiving other people, that's a little trickier, because when you forgive other people, that's not you're not necessarily inviting them back into your life. Just because you have forgiven them does not mean that you are inviting them back into your life, that you are inviting them to continue to be a part of your life. You are allowed to forgive people from a distance. You are allowed to forgive people in your heart. You do not have to forgive people to their faces. And even after you have forgiven them, you don't have to ever see them again. People kind of get this idea that we get all weepy and about forgiveness, and it's like, oh, I forgive you, I'm gonna let you back. No, that's not what forgiveness means. I can forgive you, but keep you at a distance, especially if I know that you are not going to change. So bear that in mind when it comes to forgiveness. You can forgive. And you can forgive yourself, and you can forgive other people, but it doesn't mean you have to let them back in your life. So if they are not safe, then forgive them and move on. So just know that that's not going to be Spirit. Spirit is not ever going to have to forgive you, because Spirit is not ever going to see anything wrong. Because that would be judging something on the outside. We have the illusion of separation, which is why we can judge, which is why we try not to. It's like, it's an illusion. But change behavior is the best apology. And yeah. All right. So that's kind of my idea on forgiveness, but let's work our way through this, because he has some pretty interesting things to say. And I would encourage you to go back and read Isaiah. Look this up. Look up this 44:22. See what's going on around it. In one of the classes, I think it was Reverend Norm, who was a Catholic priest before he came to Science of Mind. He said, when you read Bible quotes, try and put them in context. Read a little bit before and read a little bit after, and see what the Bible quote has to say. Isaiah was one, I think, that was written while they were in exile. And Isaiah had some stuff to say. I have blotted out as a thick cloud thy transgressions. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered nor come to mind. Basically, when I have forgiven you, then I'm not going to keep bringing your transgressions up. I'm not going to see them anymore. But then that means that it behooves you, if you want to stay in my life, to not do them again. It's like, I can only forget so many times. Although, if we're talking about God, you've already heard what I had to say about God. Whatever the mistakes of yesterday may have been, today is a new creation. There. Whatever the mistakes of yesterday may have been, whatever mistakes I made yesterday, today is a new creation, which means I can do better. And I have the obligation to do better. So if I don't learn from my mistakes, am I truly evolving? Today is a new creation. I get to try again. And then I can turn into Yoda and say, do or do not, there is no try. I will do better. Turning from the errors of the past and no longer carrying with us the sorrow and mistakes of yesterday. So basically, yeah, I made mistakes yesterday, and I acknowledge that, and I have learned from them, and now I'm going to forget them. I'm going to retain the lessons that I learned, but I'm going to let go of the guilt of the mistakes that I made. Which is no longer carrying with us the sorrows and mistakes of yesterday. I'm going to carry the lessons that I have learned from the mistakes I have made, but I am not going to carry the guilt and the sorrow with me, because today is a new day. Today we may enter into a new experience, but it is only when we forgive everyone that we may feel certain that the weight of condemnation has been lifted from our own consciousness. And just think about that for a minute. When you are angry at a person or sad about a person or a mistake, it just kind of weighs everything down. So he is definitely encouraging you to forgive everybody. He is not anywhere in here does he say, let him back in your life. But he does say forgive everybody. Because when you forgive everybody, you are free. Because sometimes they don't remember what they've done to you. So the only person in bondage with it is you. So you might as well forgive them and move on, because they don't remember what it is. That would be one of those episodes of, I'm gonna. One of the steps in the 12-step program is forgiveness, and I don't know which step it is. But, what is it called? The name of it just popped right out of my head. I apologize. But basically, you make a list of the mistakes that you've made, and then you go to the people and you apologize. And a lot of the times, and you'll hear it, people don't remember what, some of the mistakes are. So you are the only one beating yourself up about that. But there's also that part that says, if it will create more harm, then don't go ask for forgiveness. That's one where you're going to have to forgive yourself and move on, because you can't go to that person because it would create more harm. And that's definitely not what you want to do. So that's what that is like. Once we have forgiven everybody, then we are truly free, including ourselves. Definitely including ourselves in that. We should refuse to carry the negations of yesterday into the positive atmosphere of today. For today, the world is made new in our experiences. Every day is a new day. Every dawn is a new dawn. And if we can let go of the nonsense from yesterday, then we can make today a better day. So we carry the lessons learned, but forgive the mistakes and forget the mistakes and move on. Today I loose all condemnation. I judge not, and I am judged only by the law of good. So think about that for a minute. It's like, I judge not, because I am trying to move past the illusion of separation. I am trying to recognize the oneness. I'm trying to see that there is nothing outside of me, that we are all not the same, one. So therefore, I don't have the right to judge. Or I don't have the ability to judge, because there's nothing outside of me. screwing my words up here. And I am judged only by the law of good, because that's the only law there is. The law is the law of good, and when I am punished by my misuse of that law, which is not really a punishment. That's the law going, that's not the way this works. So then then I have to forgive myself and move on. I'm not being judged by the great accountant in the sky. There is no book that is holding on to my past transgressions. There is no book that is holding on to your past transgressions. Take the lessons and forgive the mistakes. Leave them behind. There is no animosity, no criticism, no hatred. I shall behold the face of love, of beauty, and of peace in everyone I meet. Not a small. It's like even people who have, wronged me. It's like when I meet you again, I'm going to treat you as if the mistake that was made never happened. Okay, that's my goal. Do I always do it? No. But that's my goal. And it's something that I've been fairly successful for, and I find that it freaks people out. It's like, yeah, I may have had words with you the other day, but today is a new day, and I'm going to give you the benefit, not the benefit of the doubt, but the benefit of knowing that you are a child of God, and that you will do better today, that you will learn the lesson from what happened yesterday. And I'm going to forgive myself for my part in yesterday, and you can forgive yourself for the part. And it does, it freaks people out. They're expecting me to hold a grudge, and then when I don't, they're just like, I don't understand. That's what we're supposed to do. As long as you've not harmed me irreparably, then I'm going to try to treat you as if yesterday didn't happen. Now, I'm also going to learn my lessons, and if you have harmed me and you continue to harm me in any way, physical, mental, and emotional, then I'm not going to put myself in your path anymore. I will do what I need to do to stay out of your path, and then I will forgive you, and I will have literally moved on. So that's one of the ways that forgiveness can work. Everybody has a different way of doing it. Okay. I know that every right motive has the blessings of the Spirit, and there is nothing that opposes this blessing or denies this divine givingness. I think that forgiveness that would qualify as right action, because forgiveness is freedom. When you forgive yourself, when you forgive others, you are freeing them up from space in your head. Even if you never interact with them again, you are freeing up that space in your head. What I've heard it said, if people are still in your head, raise the rent or kick them out. And that's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is raising the rent or kicking them out. Forgive them so that they're not taking up space in your head anymore. Forgive them so that their mistake that they made is not taking up space in your head anymore. And it gives you more space for that love and for the beauty and the amazingness that this world can be. All right. So, from the Science of Mind textbook, the mind that condemns understands not the truth of being. There's nothing outside of us. We're all made of the same stuff. So, when we are condemning, then we are reinforcing the illusion of separation. And the heart that would shut the door of its bosom to one who is mistaken strangles its own life. And that's it. The heart that would shut the door to one who has made a mistake strangles its own life. That's the poison. If you are going to hold on to the mistake, then that's the poison that is slowly going to kill your joy and kill your spirit and kill your love. So the forgiveness frees you. And if you choose to continue to have them in your life, then you are free to demand that they behave better. And if they do not, then you are free to allow them to exit your life. Forgiveness doesn't mean that they can stay and continue to behave in that way. It's not. Forgiveness is about freedom for you. Forgive them and allow them to gracefully exit your life. Or forgive them and treat them as if they'd never made the mistake and see how that changes. When people have made especially if they made a fairly grievous error, then they can be timid and scared, and then they don't act like themselves. And that's not what we want. If we're going to truly forgive people and allow them to continue in our life, then we need to treat them as the wonderful, loving godlings that they are. So treat them as if they've never made the mistake. And know that they've learned their lesson and that they will do better. Forgiveness isn't easy. If it was, there wouldn't be $1 million, empires out there on how to do it. But this is one small step. One small rock in the pond. All right. And forgiveness is definitely something to be grateful about. I don't know how to give you a mission for forgiveness. So our mission for today, should we choose to accept it, is turning from the errors of the past and no longer carrying with us the sorrows and mistakes of yesterday. Because today is a new day. I think that'll give us something to work on today. All right. So, do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. And trust me, forgiveness work is probably one of the most kind, compassionate, and loving things that you can do for yourself and for others. Just let it go out of your head. And that's one of those where you want to open the windows of your soul and open the door to the heart in your bosom. I love the way he says things. And let that breath of heaven come in. Let it blow out all of the little bits and pieces that we're carrying around. All the little judgments. Let it sweep them out and blow them away so that we can truly see the new day with fresh eyes. So that it can remind us that we live in heaven now. Because we are beloved children of Spirit, in whom Spirit is well pleased, in whom Spirit will never judge, because we are not outside of it. We always live within Spirit. So, it is a fantastic day here. I hope it is a fantastic day where you are. I will definitely encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body and your spirit. That's why I go to the park on Saturdays to throw peanuts at for squirrels. It is soul food and fun and beautiful and entertaining. So do something like that for yourself. All right? Do what you need to do to make it a wonderful day. And know that Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. today. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. And then tomorrow we do have an amazing service for you. Danielle, Reverend Jesse is teaching a class this weekend. So to support his saving his voice for the rest of the month, Danielle is our board president and one of our practitioners. And she has something to say. And it's going to be good. I've heard her speak before. She's pretty amazing. So please join us right here on Facebook Live at 11 p.m. for that. And if you miss us on Facebook Live, you can always scroll back a few or catch us on YouTube. I'll get it up. I'll get it up that day. So it'll be on YouTube that day. And do remember that if you want to look for any of these, I am working gradually on getting a YouTube channel up. I just have most of April up. I need to get back on that. But that's not on the CLC YouTube, the Creative Life YouTube. That's going to be on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube channel. So y'all have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. All right, beloveds. Have a wonderful day.